Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's community event. I am Megan Watson, and I'm on the AI product marketing team here at Zendesk, and I will be your host. Thank you to all of you taking time out of your busy day to join us. We're excited to share more and help you learn more about the amazing platform work being done to help both CX and ES customers easily connect their data and customize how they action it across the business and do so in a secure way. Before we dive in, we want to give you a heads up on a few upcoming events that you might find useful. So first and foremost, on March 19th, the community will be having an admin user group where they will be chatting about relate predictions. It's a chance for Zendesk admins of all levels to come together, share insights, and talk about what's on the horizon for our platform. And of course, you might be asking, what is Relate? Well, Relate is our biggest event of the year, and it will be taking place once again in Las Vegas. This time we'll be having it at the Aria, and it will be from March 25th to the 27th. And it's our biggest event of the year, and it's where we talk about our biggest product announcements for the year and give you deeper insights into where Zendesk is investing. More specifically, it's an opportunity to see what's next in AI-powered service for both CX and ES use cases. So we've got registration links for both of these, and we'll share these in the chat. I will be at Relate, and I hope to see you there. But back to the agenda and really why we're here today. We do have 3 major platform updates for you all that we're excited to share more on and walk you through. So first and foremost, how you can provide fast, personal employee service with the new Workday integration, protecting data privacy with new department spaces, how to unify your service and business data with Data Explorer. So lots of great stuff that we're going to be covering today. And of course, we'll reserve the end for our live Q&A. And we've got the right people here today to help guide this conversation, all our experts in this area, and we are so pleased to have them here with us today. Not only because they're going to be providing that under the hood view of these exciting updates, but they are also here to answer your questions. So a friendly reminder, please use the Q&A, which you'll see down below. So not in the chat, we ask you to ask your questions in the Q&A tab down below. We have team members standing by there to answer your questions. Please be patient with them, give them time to respond, and anything we don't get to today, we of course will follow up on. A few housekeeping items, because it's always something people ask. This event is being recorded, so anyone who registers will receive the recording, the deck that we are going through today, Q&A, and any additional resources that we will find helpful for you all to share as a follow-up to today's event. All right, so let's get started. How we deliver value for CX and ES teams is through our trusted and flexible platform. The platform is what makes Zendesk easy to scale and allows companies to connect their data and customize how they action it across the business. Our platform gives teams the trust and confidence they need to do this, protecting customer, employee, and business data with enterprise-grade security, privacy tools needed in this AI-first world we're all living in. So let's take a look at how our platform can help better than anyone else. First and foremost, even though companies are trending towards deeper integration, data and workflows between CX and other departments are still siloed. But with Zendesk Platform, we help you quickly create connected experiences across the customer and employee journey. As data and volume workflow then complexity increases, it becomes difficult to build the right data connections across the business and do so efficiently. With Zendesk Platform, we make it easy to efficiently scale and tailor connections across the business. And last, of course, in this age of AI, protecting all of this data is a challenge. So we give you the security, flexibility, and speed you need with AI that you, your employees, and your customers can trust. So with that, I'll pass it over to my colleagues, Camilla and Thomas, who are going to do a deeper dive and share more, starting with the Workday integration and how it helps customers like you personalize your employee service.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Megan. So hi, everyone. I'm Camilla, and I'm so excited to introduce you to our Workday integration. So let's pop over to the next slide, and we can dive into that. Awesome. So our Workday integration provides easy access to employee insights from Workday directly in Zendesk. This boosts your HR agent productivity, protects sensitive employee data, and also provides accurate employee service. By centralizing employee data within Zendesk, agents can respond to requests faster, and this improves workflows and collaboration across departments. This integration also ensures secure and compliant data handling. By aligning with Workday's granular permissions, strict access controls are enforced across all touchpoints. The result is improved employee satisfaction and trust, enabling your company to address critical HR needs, such as onboarding and the management of life events. So let's dive into those use cases right now. So how does this integration impact the daily workflows at your company? We've got a few key use cases here across HR, IT, and other internal teams. And across these use cases, we can see that centralizing employee data within Zendesk enables agents to respond to requests faster, improving workflows and collaboration across departments. This then drives increased agent productivity with benefits like reduced resolution time and key use cases such as onboarding, offboarding, managing hardware requests, and more. So let's dive deeper into how the Workday integration enables that fast, personalized employee service. So Thomas, take it away.
Thank you, Camilla. So taking a first look at this, there's no surprise that I think Zendesk is making a massive shift into the employee service space. The Workday integration is going to help us get there really quickly. The first thing to note about this native Workday integration is it's a sidebar panel installation, meaning if you're familiar with the Zendesk marketplace, it's not a custom integration. It's one of those plug and play integrations. So you go, you download it, you install it into your environment. And it already comes with predefined fields. So to some of the use cases that Camilla had given, just as an example, think about the HR agent who might be working on tickets related to a policy question, or maybe a more personal or sensitive question, maybe position or employment status. Typically, Zendesk customers might have to swivel chair, right, or tab alt between these different solutions. That's trying to eliminate that issue and make you more productive and more efficient. So similarly, an IT agent who might be assisting with a hardware purchase can reference maybe an employee's address to determine where to send the new laptop, or maybe even look at their manager for the new approvals EAP that was just released earlier this week. So there's a lot of streamlined efficiencies there. And then lastly, the agents actually sign into the application from the apps panel using their Workday credentials. So it is a very secure integration. And after signing into that Workday environment, agents will only see the ticket's requester's employee data in the sidebar of a ticket. So the app will display the Workday employee record that matches that specific requester's email address. So that's how we're correlating the requester between what's actually going to show up in that sidebar. And we'll go to the next slide and talk a little bit about administration. Integration can often be a big, scary word for a lot of enterprise software companies. That's certainly not the case there. So I mentioned that this is a marketplace installation app, so it's available there. And it requires OAuth 2.0 authorization. So this is a authorization which is actually required for that integration to work specifically with Workday. But that's what's going to allow Zendesk to obtain that secure access to your Workday data. It's also worth mentioning that it's going to carry over the roles and permissions from Workday to that signed in agent within Zendesk. So whatever the roles and permissions I have in Workday, I'm only going to see that data within that application. The only thing that's really required from our customers, if you're going to collaborate with IT to install this, is Workday will provide the client ID and the client secret, which will be generated from within that Workday environment. So all you really need is to name it, the URL, the client ID, and the secret ID, and then you're up and running. It's also worth mentioning that you can have multiple connections with multiple Workday environments. So as an example, you might have more than one Workday environment. It doesn't mean you're limited to one. So as many Workday environments as you can connect, as long as you have the authorization, the client ID, and the secret ID of those Workday environments, you're going to be up and running. So there's a large shift from a lot of our customers who have traditionally used Zendesk for CX to use Zendesk for employee service. And this is obviously a step in the right direction to both streamline the productivity and efficiency of those agents, but as we all know, we want to improve the end user experience with Zendesk. So I'll hand it back off to the team.
Awesome. Thank you, Thomas. My name is Valerie Tsai, and I'm excited to walk you through department spaces with ticket access. So with department spaces, you can easily manage multiple departments within your company while maintaining data privacy between them. And with this feature, you can unify multiple departments in one Zendesk instance while maintaining data separation, streamline department management with centralized access controls, and protect data privacy by ensuring that agents only view assigned department data. So because this feature provides you with department-based permissions to ensure agents only view assigned department data, this can really help you support compliance with any company or regulatory data privacy requirements. All right, so now that we've shown you what department spaces can do, what are some use cases that you can use with department spaces? So for example, this feature can be used for when global businesses need to separate their lines of business by country to maintain data privacy and adhere to GDPR obligations. Another use case is, for example, you might be a larger enterprise company. You might want to use departments as consumer-facing brands so that the end user will be interacting with each brand as its own entity, but the company will still manage all those consumer-facing brands from one place. Another key use case is for franchises. So a parent company might house multiple franchises under one umbrella. Well, sometimes they are positioned as competitors within that parent company. And so the parent company must ensure that customer data needs to be strictly partitioned between each one. All right, so let's dive in and see how this works from a customer experience perspective. So to start, you can create different departments within your Zendesk instance so you can have easier management over different departments, brands, regions, or products. So for example, let's say I'm an admin, I'm working at Bonnie Blenders, a global kitchen appliances brand that specializes in manufacturing blenders. I want to make sure that the rest of the EU divisions and the USA division does not have access to the UK division's ticket data. So what I can do is I can create a department within Bonnie Blenders Zendesk instance and use Bonnie Blenders UK to name the department and subdomain. I can even add a logo, a branded signature, or social buttons if I want to further customize the UK department within Zendesk. And now Bonnie Blenders UK department has been successfully created. And as an admin, I would then need to designate which agents can be a part of this department and have access to the UK department's ticket data. So on this current page, I can see a list of the team members who have access to the UK department ticket data, also what departments they are part of, when they last signed in, and I can also easily add new team members to this department if needed. And to better leverage department spaces in this initial release with ticket access, which you'll see on the next screen, I can then align agents within their roles to ensure their permissions are correctly set, as their role will be dictating their permissions across the department. And of course, that was just one example, but we can imagine others like using department spaces to separate their lines of business by country to maintain data privacy and adhere to GDPR, like I mentioned before, or to house franchises to ensure data is strictly partitioned between franchises under the same parent company. So now that I showed you what use cases you can use with CX, now let's take a switch over to employee service. So you can also use employee service use cases for department spaces. So for example, you can use it for HR service management, meaning you can ensure HR agents can securely manage requests across onboarding, leave management, and maybe other life events while safeguarding sensitive information. Another use case can be used for IT service management, and this is where companies can streamline and secure their IT operations by ensuring that agents only access ticket data relevant to their assigned department. Another key use case here is legal operations. So with this feature, you can ensure that only authorized agents can access specific legal information to help protect confidentiality across multiple departments. All right, now let's see what department spaces can do for employee service. So to start, we'll start with the fictional company's primary Zendesk admin, Samantha, from the IT team. So on this current slide, you'll meet Samantha. Samantha has recently been promoted to lead IT administrator at her company. So one of her primary goals in this new position is to secure systems that will scale internal operations effectively. So her company currently manages both IT and HR service under one Zendesk instance. So with sensitive employee information and role-specific data being documented across tickets, it's imperative that Samantha implements a data separation system while keeping both the IT and HR department in the same instance. So on this current slide, you can see that Samantha can be able to take advantage of department spaces. So she'll go to her Zendesk admin settings, and then on the next page, she'll navigate to her brand management section. She'll be easily able to create 2 departments, one for IT, you hit create, and one for HR. And that would be easy as that. And next, now she needs to assign team members to each department. So while any admin has a capability to do this for this task, we will be switching perspectives to Tom. And Tom is the company's senior HR manager and primary HR admin in Zendesk. So Tom manages a team of 5 other admins who are direct reports ranging in their levels of responsibility. So let's see how department spaces can help him streamline his work with centralized access controls. So he will be in his admin settings. Tom will see that Samantha has granted admin access over the HR department. And on the same slide, he will be able to use his company directory and also empower any other admin to help determine and assign a department role, whether it's admin or agent, to each employee using memberships. And on the same slide, you can see that admins can ensure that only these selected team members can view and manage tickets for their specific department. And next, let's see Tom's HR department as an example. So to start, Tom will add his team members to the HR department space using memberships. And by assigning his team the appropriate role within their department, Tom can streamline their workflows while also enhancing the security of their data access. Simple as that. Finally, on this slide, let's switch to the perspective of Eduardo, an HR agent on Tom's team. So how has his workflow been affected by department spaces? Should he be concerned about being locked out of departments? Nope, he doesn't have to worry about that. So department spaces can securely support cross-department collaboration. So say, for example, a new hire onboarding ticket is assigned to Eduardo. So part of his workflow for onboarding includes commissioning a new laptop from IT to the new hire, which you will then see on the next slide in the ticket shown. So following his onboarding steps through the extender SuiteHawk, Eduardo can copy his counterpart IT department, enabling collaboration between the 2 agents exclusively on that ticket. The IT agent can then efficiently commission a new laptop for the ticket that they are tagged in without being overwhelmed by unnecessary information like other unrelated tickets or tasks. And meanwhile, sensitive employee information in Eduardo's onboarding ticket is then securely protected, which can ensure privacy between departments. So with these permissions in place, Eduardo is still able to seamlessly collaborate across departments without any barriers. So while Eduardo was able to collaborate with IT in the appropriate ticket, we can also see that Eduardo's dashboard is only curated with tickets that are relevant to his role and his membership. So Eduardo is able to collaborate as needed while only accessing his assigned department data. All right, now let's show you what are some best practices. To start, we recommend aligning agents within their roles to ensure their permissions are correctly set, as their roles will dictate their permissions across the department. Second, you will want to limit agent access to tickets within their specific department, brand, region, or more. And finally, we suggest customizing departments based on the field that's most relevant to your use case. So for example, those can be internal departments, brands, or regions. And now I'll hand it over to Vanessa to walk you through Data Exporter.
Awesome. Thank you, Valerie. Well, hello, everyone. We are thrilled to be talking to you about some exciting developments for analytics that will allow you to export entire data sets and then integrate them with data from other business units. So we know that companies can struggle to integrate data from across their operations. And without a unified view, it can be really hard to improve operations and customer experience. So with the new data exporter, you can make sure you're getting the most out of your service data by telling a cohesive story across the business. Let's talk about what this feature can do. Number one, with the data exporter, you can export entire data sets from Explorer, and then you can integrate them with your preferred BI tool. And this can help other departments have full visibility into customer service data. That way you can focus on improved customer experience from across the business instead of just looking at it from your department's point of view. Lastly, you can save time by scheduling recurring exports that can happen on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis to help streamline reporting operations. And before you see the data exporter in action, I wanted to go through just a few key ways you can get more value out of your service data with this feature. First, the data exporter doesn't limit export size, which is really important because that means you can export entire data sets. This allows you to surface data to other departments and share entire data sets with key stakeholders. Second, we imagine you're focused on improving customer experience and driving revenue for your company. And so with the data exporter, you can look at the full picture of how sales, marketing, and customer service are working together to understand customer behavior and then look for opportunities to improve business operations. Relatedly, you can really pinpoint inefficiencies in your customer journey across the entire business. Now I'm really excited to hand it over to Eugene, who's going to show you how the new data exporter helps you see the full picture.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Vanessa. Let me share the screen. Hope it will go smoothly. All right. So yeah, well, dataset export is located in the Zendesk Analytics page. So you would need to navigate to this page and locate this icon on the left. And yeah, I should have started with my task. So imagine that I'm a data analyst and I'm trying to create a unified user journey within our organization. So I will need some data from customer service, some data from sales, some data from marketing, and I need to join it together in our BI tool to get this analysis so I can pass this investigation and insights to our leadership. So, and the first step would be to getting out this customer service data from Explorer. And I can do it here. And since it's a one-time investigation I need to do now, I would do a one-time export. It's located here. And the investigation I'm going to be doing is around ticket information. So I will locate the support tickets data set. And then I only need to choose the time range. In my case, I will be looking at monthly trends. So I'll need longer time range. So I'll choose last 12 months. So then I just need to click create button, and that's it. The export will be going on in the background. So if it's a larger account, even 12 months of data, it might take minutes or hours. But eventually, I will get an email notification. Like in my case, it's a test account, so it would take a few minutes. But I prepared just like an example of the email I would get. And once I receive the email, it means the data is ready. And then I can go back to the dataset exporter page, and I will locate my export here. And the last bit is actually to download the file. So the file that is generated is actually like a CSV file, so a standard file you would use for uploading data into BI tools. Oh, that thing doesn't disappear. No, yeah, let's just leave it there. Then the second part, like maybe at some point I want to create a dashboard where all the data is mashed together, across different departments. Those which might not be even using Zendesk, right? So in that case, I could create a recurring export, and it's very similar to one-time export. You just click this button, and the only difference is really the frequency, right? I need to choose the frequency, how often the data going to be gathered and exported. So if it's a monthly occasion, like you put in the data on monthly basis into a BI tool, I would choose monthly frequency, and then obviously you can choose the day of the month and hour. And once I create this export, it will be executed on schedule every month. And the only thing I need to do is integrate this data again into the BI tool. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Now you know how you can export full data sets from Explore and integrate it with your business data. Thank you. And I pass back to Vanessa and stop sharing.
Awesome. Thank you, Eugene. So we'll get the slides back up. We're going to go through just a few best practices about what you just heard. So and then we'll move into the Q&A. So let's recap a few things here. First, most of your day-to-day analysis can and should be done within Explore using dashboards. So where the data exporter, as you heard, really comes in handy is to integrate service data with other departments' data. But if you're just looking at service data, dashboard should have everything you need. And then number two, as you can see in the second point, remember to set up recurring data set exports to integrate data with your preferred BI tool. I did see a question about whether this was possible daily. It is. So you're able to get a complete view of customer behavior and business operations on a daily basis and integrate that with your BI tool. And what's awesome about this is this can really help reduce the time it takes to reconcile data, since the export will be automated. And lastly, one-time exports can be really helpful to share service data with key stakeholders, both internally and externally, without being restricted by export size. And with that, we will move into the Q&A.
All right, let's go ahead and move into the Q&A. I do see that we are having a few questions also in the Q&A chat. Keep those coming. We do have experts trying to answer those, but if we could move on to the next slide, let's go ahead and start with our first question. All right, so this is for Valerie and Alina. This one comes from Elise, and Elise asks, can department spaces be used for employee service use cases? Can they?
Sorry, I had to unmute there, but yes.
Okay.
Yes, department spaces can be used for employee service use cases, as you saw in the demo. HR and IT buyers are two key personas for this feature. So the key use cases, like mentioned before, for employee service are employee onboarding and lifecycle management for HR, secure routing of service requests for IT, and case management for legal ops.
Awesome. And just before we move on, Alina, did you have anything else to add to that answer? I'll assume that's a no. Okay. Moving on to our next question. We have this from Caitlin, and Caitlin asks, are we able to restrict users' departments within Explore?
All right, so thank you for asking this question. So this is still in discovery. We currently don't have product timelines to share just quite yet. You will be notified in due time. So please stay tuned for this exciting feature.
Awesome, thank you for that answer. Let's move on to our next question. This one comes from Erica. Erica wants to know, if an agent is restricted to a particular department and they get a ticket, will this ticket be automatically sent to their department?
Right, thank you for asking that. So upon activation, all agents are set to all departments. Once an agent is restricted to a department, tickets will then follow the normal flow. So, and only access a ticket if it's their department.
Awesome, thank you for that answer. Let's move on to our next question. And also, please keep those questions coming in the Q&A chat. We do have experts answering there as well. Our next question is from Jane, and Jane wants to know, will agents with team member management permissions be able to, or will be allowed to change the agent department membership?
All right, yeah, thank you, Jane, for asking this question. Yes, they will be allowed to change the agent department memberships.
Awesome. That was a simple answer. Next question, and this one is for Eugene and Vanessa. This comes from Kelly. Kelly wants to know, what can I do to prevent exceeding export limits?
Yeah, so I'll answer this one. Yeah, so we have certain limits for the decided exporter, so we can ensure there is no performance issues, so it's kind of good reliability. So you are limited to 14 recurring exports and 7 one-off exports per month. It's the core limit, and we'll be adding more data sets in future, and we'll need to increase this limit. So the only way to release some capacity in you could remove some of the exports which you already don't need, especially if you have some recurring exports. Removing those will release the capacity, and you can add more exports without getting to the limit. I think we go the next one.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Eugene. Let's go ahead and move on. This one is for you two again. This one comes from Jillian, and Jillian wants to know, what time periods can I export data in?
Yeah, so probably you already saw in the demo there. So it could be either daily, weekly, monthly, or if it's one-time export, you can get whole 12 month. There is no like granular time range selector there yet. But this is something we want to introduce next. So you could choose specific dates and get the data just for that range. Yeah, so I guess that's summarizes it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eugene. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one comes from Jesse. Who has access to the data exporter, as we're seeing right in front of us right now?
Cool. Yeah, I can take this one, Devin. So the short answer is that Explore admins have access. And as you can see, these permissions are set in the admin center, and the user needs to have manage access permissions in order to have access to the data exporter. And to give a little more information about why that is because the users that have full access to Explore have access to all data. So that also translates the ability to export entire data sets.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that answer, Vanessa. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. And this one's for you. This is from Leanne. Leanne wants to know, how should I build a dashboard? I think that's a pretty fundamental question right there.
Yes, and I know we didn't get too much into the dashboard builder today, but we are always excited to talk about it. So we're going to answer this one today. So a few best practices to consider when building a dashboard in Explore. The number one thing I'd recommend is to start with a template. We have lots of handy templates, which will provide reports and filters based on your specific use case as a jumping off point, so you don't have to start from scratch. And then once you've set up that dashboard using a template, what's really nice is you can easily drag and drop and edit the design of your dashboard with that drag and drop interface. And just a tip here is we always recommend putting your most important KPIs at the top of your dashboard, which everything else should adjust and move down based on you modifying that. Number 3, think about dashboard restrictions, and what these are the ability to create one dashboard for multiple audiences by creating those restrictions. So which users within your organization need to see which data, and how might you set that up using dashboard restrictions, which are easy with the new dashboard builder. 2 more quick things. Another great way to optimize your dashboards is to think about reducing information overload. We know, you have the ability to include a lot of data, but when you're sharing these dashboards, we want to make sure that users are really gleaning the key insights that you want them to. So think about breaking your dashboards out into tabs, by business segment, et cetera, to really kind of cater that information to your specific audiences. And then lastly, this one's related. Remember to share the dashboards with key stakeholders, either on a one-time or recurring basis. The really value comes from sharing this data with your organization so that you can take action on it.
Thank you for that wonderful answer, Vanessa. Also, I do want to take a quick moment to address a question from the chat. we did have a few people ask, where can I find these recordings? I have some team members that missed this event. Don't worry, we're going to be sending a full recording of this, all our answers, the resources we shared, our full deck to everybody who registered and attended this event. So we got you covered. But our next question comes from comes from Jessica, and this is for Camilla and Thomas. Jessica asks, what's the difference between Zendesk Workday Integration, a custom Workday integration through the Employee 360 app, and the Workday integration from Al Dente?
Great question. So let's take a look at how these three integration types can support any of your employee service team needs. So dive into the next slide, we'll get to see that. So we basically have integration options for any of your HIRS needs. So for customers looking for an off-the-shelf option, our Workday integration provides that quick access to Workday data within Zendesk support. So this is ideal for multi-instance environments or simple data retrieval. And just to set us, we are on the left side with this. And then if we move towards the middle, for customers needing more robust customization, Atalante's Workday integration provides advanced configurations and compliance features, as well as direct employee data management within tickets. And then finally, if you move to the far right, Zendesk Employee 360 app is a fully custom solution for businesses requiring bidirectional syncing, complex automation, or integrations beyond Workday with a one-time implementation fee. So our two integrations on the left and in the middle are available in our app marketplace, and you can explore what's possible with our Employee 360 app by contacting professional services. Great question.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, and this comes from Kristen. Is there a list of predefined fields that can be accessed for review for the Workday integration?
So yes, definitely. So to support your primary use cases, we only pull standard worker objects like primary address, cost center, email, and location. I'll post a comprehensive list in the chat for this group's awareness as well, but great question.
Excellent. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This one comes from Cameron, and Cameron asks, are there any exciting updates coming to platform that we should know about? I'm sure the answer is yes, but it's going to be more than that.
Yeah, I can kick us off if that's okay. I love this question, so thank you, Cameron. The answer is lots of them. From an Explorer perspective, one thing we're really excited to launch is natural language querying, which will allow users to ask their own questions in simple language to generate reports with AI. So that will be coming this year. So I'm really excited about that. Maybe I'll popcorn anything coming to department spaces. Or Workday integration, either one.
All right, I'll dive into our Workday integration. So yes, we're super excited to announce a number of actually employee service specific integrations. So we have a number of pre-built HRS integrations that will deliver that fast, personalized employee service right within your Zendesk integration, or sorry, your Zendesk support. So that would be Workday, as we've heard about, Rippling, HiBob, and Bamboo HR. And then also, we're announcing the ability to integrate iTime seamlessly with Umnitsa and Asset Sonner, which will help accelerate issue resolution, reduce downtime, and also boost operational efficiency for your IT service.
Apologies for the delay in answering, and thank you, Camilla, for taking the Workday first. For department spaces, we do have a couple of exciting features coming up. We currently don't have product timelines for those yet, but you can start expecting to see end user access and department spaces apply to business roles. These will be helping expand department-based permissions with the ability to limit access to end user profile data, and also extend restrictions to limit access and management of business roles within an agent's department. So like I just mentioned, unfortunately, we don't have product timelines to share quite yet, but these are under exploration and also being built at this moment, and we will definitely let you know when we have timelines to share.
Awesome. So we do have a little bit of time for questions that we got in the Q&A chat. Camilla, this one's for you. Teresa asks, how does the Workday integration improve ticket resolution times in Zendesk?
Great question. I see that Thomas actually typed out a beautiful response. So Thomas, would you like to jump in on this one?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. I'd say the first is every time that an agent leaves Zendesk, right, or spends time away from the actual case or ticket that they're working, right, that's time that's affecting that resolution time. So the purpose or the intent of that integration is to eliminate those swivels. Some quick, kind of back of the napkin math. If it takes an agent, for example, 30 seconds to swivel into Workday to view maybe an employee's manager or any additional information about that potential employee, that's 30 seconds that could have been spent within the ticket responding. Now, at face value, that doesn't seem like a ton of time, but you multiply that times 1,000 tickets a month, right? Or 10,000 tickets a year, those 30 seconds, right? Which is going to come to, likely hundreds or potentially thousands of hours that are saved in agent efficiency, which, although, we don't, everyone's cost per agent is likely going to be different, but that time saved at the end of the year is going to be exponential every time you leverage that integration directly within Zendesk.
Awesome. Thanks for that answer. We do have a couple more. We do have a question from Robert, and I think this is going to be for you, Vanessa. In fact, we have actually a couple from Robert. So thanks for the multiple questions, Robert. We love your enthusiasm. The first one that he asks is, what is the timeline to get all data sets into the exporter?
Yeah, great question. So this is something that we are actively working on, but we don't have a timeline to share today. That said, we will, of course, update our documentation when that timeline is available. Eugene, anything to add there?
No, not really. I guess you covered it. It's one of the next things we plan to work on for the dataset exporters to cover more data sets in there. Currently, there are only 7. But they're most used ones, right? So it probably covers, majority of use cases, like 90%. But yeah, we need to work on it.
Awesome. Thanks for that answer. We do have another question, and this is the stance that most daily operation or operational reporting can be done in Explorer is really tough pill to swallow. We can't join data sets, and it makes reporting in Zendesk incredibly challenging and a little disjointed. With the addition of AI, this is getting worse. Are there any solutions, ideas, workarounds, or suggestions for this?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing I'd say is appreciate your feedback. Totally understand where you're coming from. This is something that we will pass on to the product folks working on this. That's the main thing we can do. And, these events are great opportunities to really hear directly from you where your pain points are. So we really appreciate that and know that we take this feedback seriously. So that is what we can commit to today. And of course, again, we'll keep documentation updated as updates are made to the product.
I also can add that the product team is aware that is one of the most popular feature requests to be able to join reports from different data sets. This work will be part of a new report builder, which is currently in beta. So we need to do a few more projects before we can get to that. But yeah, we also really want to get to that feature. One thing to add, often are some workarounds, but they might be not that obvious. Like some data sets are specifically called talk data set or chat data set, but they still have some ticket information. So you could create calculations sometimes to get the data you need. But yeah, it's not it won't cover all the use cases. But yeah, if you have some the questions like this, you can reach us through ticket through customer support.
Awesome. Thanks for that great answer. And we do have one more. Are there plans for the approvals workflow to be able to extend to external services? Example, approver request to access a customer account.
I'll take a stab at that one. The approvals app in general, yes, will be able to. You will be able to send approval requests to users that are not licensed in Zendesk. I think that was the premise of the question. So if they're external to Zendesk or even external to the organization, you should be able to simply input their email and send that request out.
Thanks for that answer, Thomas. We do have one from Michael. And Michael asks, will there be other delivery methods for the experts? Our BI team wants to pick it up programmatically. Sorry about that. And thanks for the great question, Michael.
It wasn't dataset exporter, right?
Yeah.
I was replying to one of the questions. Yeah. So it is one of, probably first highest feature request for dataset exporter we heard so far. Dataset exporter was released for 2 months. So it's actually allowing like access through API or some way to connect the data automatically to the BI tool, like some sort of connector. So this would be the second thing after adding more data sets to the data exporter. That's next step for us.
Excellent. We do have a question from Teresa, and she wants to know, will the integration support for Workday's mobile platform, will this integration support Workday's mobile platform for employee self-service requests?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So the request or the current integration today is really just pulling in Workday profile attributes into the sidebar application. If you wanted to pull in, say, a request that was submitted in Workday into Zendesk, it would be a little bit different of an integration that would likely be a little bit more custom. So at that point, if, for example, if Camilla submitted a request in Workday that you want to be visible to maybe an HR agent that works within Zendesk, the current Workday integration wouldn't support that. However, it doesn't mean that it's not possible. It would just be a different kind of API-driven integration with some form of middleware or maybe a webhook.
Awesome. Thanks, Thomas. Also, I had a couple customers DM me about their feedback. Your feedback isn't harsh or negative. We do want to hear this feedback. In fact, we really appreciate when you guys give us honest, candid feedback because it helps us make a better product for all of you. So unless you're screaming really nasty words at us, this is not harsh at all. This is exactly what our product team looks for. So we appreciate your feedback today. On that note, we do have a couple more questions that we did receive. One of them comes from Susan O'Donnell. And Susan asks, are those expert limits by user or are they by org?
Eugene, do you mind taking this one?
Yeah. So any data set you export through the dataset exporter, it's just limited by the time range you select. So it's all raw data, like as we have it in Explore database. So you just get everything. So it's not limited by user organization.
Really quick to clarify, I think I think the question is around, we have how many exports can you export? 7. Are those for companies or individuals? I think is the question.
Okay, now I get it. Yeah, so in this case, it's per account, so per subdomain, right? So if you have, so it will, it covers everything. So if you have multiple people using the dataset exporter, they should be aware that the limit is for the whole organization using that subdomain. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa.
All right. I think that might be it for the Q&A. I see there's one more. Jasari, I'm not sure we understand the question that you're trying to ask. We might need a little bit more information. With that being said, we do have a post-event form that we do send out. So if there's feedback or a follow-up question you do want to ask, that would be a good place to do so. There is one other question. And this one comes from, I don't have a name for it, but I can ask the question. Can we put images and templates on the new builder?
So yeah, the answer is, I think it was answered in chat too. Do you want me to go for it, Eugene, or would you like to?
Go ahead.
Yeah, the short answer is not today, though this is something that we are working on and planning for because we know that this is a feature that folks use. The best workaround for this today is to add text or links out to any kind of reports or imagery that you would like to include in your dashboard. But this is something that we're working on adding after the dashboard builder GA'd.
Awesome. Just making sure, Eugene, anything to add to that?
No, that covers it. One thing in the question I couldn't really understand what was meant by template, but yeah, I think the person referred to the actual image placed in the dashboard. So yeah, that's coming. Yeah, it's on the roadmap for sure.